In 1892, John J. Deters founded Deters in Quincy, Illinois, where they originally sold milk. Over 50 years later, in 1948, Deters becomes a malt shop-style ice cream shop. In 2001, Rich and Greg Deters, great-grandsons of John Deters, takes over. In 2009, Deters moves to O'Fallon Road in Weldon Springs, Missouri. A year later, another store opens in St. Charles near Friedens Road, where these pictures and videos can be found. Let's get started. Alright, this is Douglas Del Grosso from Deters Frozen Custard. I'll be interviewing him for my business meeting.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Doug. What made you want to own your own business?
I'm not sure if anything made me want to own it. Now, just looking back on it, I've always been sort of self-employed. I've been, when I was a kid, I had my own lawn mowing business. I had a newspaper delivery business. Out of college, I started working for a company, Anderson Consulting. I left that after a few years and went out on my own with those skills, and then went into real estate, and then ended up buying an ice cream store that was for sale in my neighborhood.
So Deters just kind of fell into your lap?
Deters kind of fell into my lap, but like I said, I guess we're always looking for opportunities. So we're into Deters, and you want to know, I guess what most people don't understand is what it takes to open a business. Okay, we can just talk about that for a second. Okay, you buy an ice cream store, which is what me and my father did, and then you have to go through the process of licensing from the government, fire department approvals, inspections, health inspections, laying out an entire floor plan for the health department, getting their approval, and all sorts of stuff like that you don't even anticipate. You know, you see a store that's open and you think you're going to buy it and just go. It just doesn't really work that way. So I had to learn how to do that.
So did you have any official training time at Deters before you took over as owner?
No. Let's see. We bought the business. We went through all the licensing to get it open, and I don't think this is normally how it happens when you buy a franchise. But like I said, we bought it. We did everything we had to do to get it open, and we were about to open it. And I told Rich, who was the other Deters we bought it from, up in Quincy, and he told me he'd be there on the first day. And I thought, great, because I have someone knows what they're doing. And he said he'd be there from 11 to 3. Well, in the custard business, there's hardly any business in those hours. And I had never even operated a register before. But I read a book, so I sort of knew what was going on. Anyway, he left at 6 o'clock. We had a line out the door around the block. And I remember I was working with a girl who worked for me for 4 years. She worked for me from 15 to college. And we were next to each other. And I looked, and we had a line of tickets like this. And we both looked up to the register where the line of people are just staring at you. And it was one of the most horrifying moments of my life. And me and her still talk about that. Remember that first day? But no, just sort of learned on the job. Like I said, I read as much as I could before that, and then we just went.
What are the things that you do in a typical day or a typical work week?
Typical work week. Well, let's just go through it. We'll start from the beginning of the month. Beginning of the month, you pay your rent to your landlord. Beginning of the month, we're in a bi-weekly paycheck period, so you guys get your checks. So you print those out and try and make sure that's all right. Get the checks out. Enter in the sales into the spreadsheet from the day before. Go to work. Go to work involves opening, which my father helps us out with. Start making the ice cream for the day and straighten up the store. We usually get there about 2.5 hours before we open, and then start the day. Typical week, let's see. Last week, a bun steamer broke, so we had to get that fixed. We're doing an advertising program with Deal Chicken. We had to approve that today. I'm getting a new menu board. I drove up to Quincy Monday morning, Quincy, Illinois, which is about 130 miles away. Sat down with the menu design guy and laid out and finalized the menu. Needed a few more pictures. We're working on that today. This is all since Monday. Plus working. What else have I done since Monday? I think that's it. So, a new menu board, a new advertising program, paychecks, rent, and we fix some piece of equipment. The bun steamer. For the hot dogs. So Basically, do it all. You have to be a little bit of a handyman. You have to be a little bit of an advertising person. You always 100% have to be the person who pays the bills. Dealing with inspections, that's always a big deal. I'm constantly worried about a health inspection. I'm due for one in each store, so I'm trying to stay on top of that. So that's always constant. That was since Monday. Is what, Wednesday? Wednesday. So the rest of this week's going to be calmer. So.
How would you say that you work to build a good customer base and relationships with your customers?
Good customer base is kind of build that up through consistent service, consistent product, and word of mouth. You always have to. It has to be right every time, from morning to night, every day, 7 days a week. I think the saying is, if one person has a bad experience, they'll tell 10 other friends. That's always in the back of your mind. So what you try to do is always do the very best you can with every customer. Make sure your staff is trained on what to do and how to do it well. Staffing is actually critical because actually my staff has more interaction with the customers. He's my bigger sword than I do. Questions that you talked about, what are some of the challenges? One of the hardest challenges is employees. This is a demanding job. It's hard. Physically, it's hard. You're trying to feed a lot. I can't say that. It's very hard to stand all day. But then they have to be able to engage with people in a professional way. I don't think when these men know him, I do like that. But how to answer questions, how to take care of problems.
So what advice would you give to future entrepreneurs or business owners who would like to purchase their own business or start their own?
I guess I can only speak specifically to the things I've done. Well, actually, I can say I know a lot of business owners. Now that I've had Deters for, 7 years, I've met a lot of people in the restaurant business and other professional services like architectural firms and all sorts of stuff really. And all of them sort of share the same qualities. And if you don't have these qualities, then don't do it. You've got to be willing to work 7 days a week. You've got to be willing to work. 8 hours a day is like a day off for me. Okay? You work 10, 12, sometimes 13 hours a day. And I don't know anyone who doesn't do that. Who works for themselves. It's not necessarily because you have to, but you do.
You're starting to make your business better for yourself.
I don't know, there's just always something to do, and I enjoy being at work. It's kind of weird for me to be at home, I like being at home, but when I spend all day at home, I feel weird, like I'm missing something, right, I'm not at work and I'm missing something, and I'm not doing something I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not watching people doing what they're supposed to be doing. Even if there's nothing for me to do, if I'm just sitting in the back of my computer, as you know, I'm listening, I'm here. If something bad happens, I'm here and I'll fix it, I'll take care of it. If you get slammed, I'm here, you just always have to be around. It's almost, as we always have said to other business owners, the business kind of owns you. You have to strike a balance for that, and I think we found the balance. I typically have my mornings off to spend with my daughter, and then I'd see the rest of the day, but I have my mornings with her, and she always has some parents around, so there's balance. You have to have that balance. But you're going to be away from your family more than you're around. And if you don't have that trait, you're not going to make it. Be prepared to feel stupid. Okay? You don't know it all. You're going to learn some stuff. You have to realize when things aren't working, you have to adapt and change. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid of failure. I know Gatto was one of the most popular bars down in Clayton, and he failed 3 times before that. There's always a reason why you fail. It can be you, it can be different elements, who knows, it doesn't really matter. It's important that you learn how to make that never happen again, and learn something new and try to be successful. But it's not a lot of genius things here. It's hard work, it's not giving up, it's always being optimistic, But anyway, they all share those traits, and this particular time has been devastating for business owners. This recession has been bad for everybody, including business owners. my business is basically treats. You don't eat ice cream to live. And if you're going to cut something, it'll be one of the first things you cut. So you learn how to adapt to that. Just keep trying. So.
Would you say that you have a good skill at honing in on people's abilities and talents and using them in a way that's effective for your business?
Well, I deal mostly with kids, and mostly with kids who it's their first job. And unlike other places, we try to make sure our kids can do it all. It makes them more effective workers, and makes the labor more efficient. And I've had people come up to me and say, I just watch your staff and I'm just amazed. They work as a team, they work really well. If you just have one ability, you're not going to be very good. Okay? How would you like to work with someone who can only mix? It just doesn't work. Ideally, you want a person who can do it all. I feel a lot of responsibility to y'all because this is as important as high school. This is as important as college. If you can imagine going through your entire high school career and your college career, never having a job, and sitting down for someone like me is going to interview you, and I'm going to look and say, okay, you got good grades, what did you do from work? And you're going to tell me, babysat. Okay, you're down on the list. It's going to be difficult for you to get a good job. It really is, and all the studies bear that out. So I don't necessarily focus in on what good skill you have. I try and make you be good at all of it. You know, we were just talking about me. When I first started, I was scared of the register. I'm pretty good on the register now, but literally for 3 months I would not get near that register. So if I was my own boss, I would never put Doug on the register. Well, that'd be a mistake. It just takes time. So we try and take a kid with a good beginning skill set, which for me is you speak well, you present yourself well, you're polite, and then if you listen to us and you put up with me screaming at you, very soon you'll be able to do it all and you'll be a well-rounded employee.
Do you feel like that gives our employees an edge as opposed to any other establishment? Anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I had a kid who worked for a major place, and I said, what did you do? He said, I just did this all day. He did one thing, and did it for 8 hours. And then we had regimented breaks, and this and that. Well, we allow you guys to sort of act a little more human. When it's slow, we don't mind if you goof off a little bit. But we also teach you how to do everything. You're not just stuck in one position. You're going to learn how to do it all. And the good thing of learning how to do it all is you learn how to work as a team. You'll finish taking an order and you'll turn around and you realize it's best for you to go back and dip this order, and the kid who's bagging it will realize it's best for him to take the next order, and you it just starts working like this great big machine. And like I said, I had a guy call me after a real busy Saturday night, and he worked for Panera's, and he said, I just want to talk to the manager. And I thought it was completely killing him to do well. He said, I just never seen a staff of kids work that well in my life. He said, it's just amazing. He said, I've been in the food business for 30 years, and I just sat at the counter and just watched. And the teamwork was incredible. I don't know how you guys did that. And so we got good kids, and we teach them how to do everything, and so we're proud of them.
Introduction for.
Sit more professional.
You're filming.
That's okay.
This is Sarah Liskowski of Lutheran High School. I bring Douglas Del Grosso from Deters, Custard for my business management class, and I hope to get an A.
I think so.
Let's get started. That's what you say. Go.
Sarah Liskowski from Lutheran High School doing an interview with Doug Del Grosso.
Douglas Del Grosso. Del Grosso.
This is Douglas Del Grosso from Deters Frozen Custard, and I'm interviewing him for my business management.
Hello, Sarah.
So what made
Sarah
you...
works for me. Classes is going to think I'm the biggest in the music. Is that a customer? Yes, it is. Let's start that all over.